Yo, what's happening, y'all? Today's an early one. We crushed it with a leg day. Now, today's live specifically is going to be I'd rather be alone than be around fearful people. What does that mean to you? Why is it important? Why is it something that we need to take in consideration, especially when we're talking about who we are, what we're doing? The reason why I say that I'd rather be alone than around fearful people is fearful people will get you stuck in a mindset of this is who you are, this is the limitations, this is the capacity that you're at, and what you're doing. I come from a place where people are still doing the same shit that they were doing 20 years ago. I say it frequently, but for the people who are in the back who don't understand this shit, it's about right now and what we're doing. And if you're not rolling that momentum, if you're not focusing on being the best you can be, if you're not doing what you need to do, not going to level up. The reason why I go into this detail and everybody's like, why are you always talking about it? Is because, for example, today went to sleep at 11:30 last night, got up at 2. Now, that is something not everybody's going to want to do. That is something I didn't even want to do. I didn't want to get out of bed, but I need to get myself back on the older routine, and I'm going to prioritize getting sleep. So if it means getting a couple hour nap during the day, then I will do so. But not everybody's going to understand you, and not everybody's going to be in alignment with that goal. Whatever. I went on my story today talking about the podcast and about interviewing people and how most people aren't in alignment sometimes with what you're doing. So when you interview a guest who's not in alignment with what you're doing, it's not going to get you to be that best person. Now, the fact is that a lot of people struggle when it comes to figuring out what's important to them, how they're going to live their lives, how they're going to be better, how they're going to do whatever it is that is catapulting them forward. Now, when we break these things down, when we focus on what we're doing, when we focus on that next level of what we got to give, what we got to do, whatever it's got to be, it gives us situational awareness when we're able to say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, because of the fear that was behind it. Again, came from a Mexican background of my family, of my grandparents come from Mexico, and just the way we're living is carne asadas and parties and fucking getting shit faced and this bullshit lifestyle, right? Let's just call it what it is. It's bullshit. The reason why is everybody has a fucking gut. They don't look good. They're not living the life. They're getting in fights with their wives. They're yelling in front of the whole family. The whole 9 yards. Like, why we gotta lie about what the situation is? Now, I'm not coming on here and bashing people or whatever, but I'm telling you that the routine of being an average motherfucker is what average motherfuckers do. And that's why it goes down to whatever level it is. Now, when we're talking about how we can be better, when we're talking about how we can level up, this is the thing you need to think about is the people you have around you. So yesterday I talked about, you know, or excuse me, the past few days I've been talking about, making the decision of your moral compass and what comes after it, regardless of if it's popularized, if it's not popularized, whatever it is. Now, with you, what you got to understand is sometimes you got to do things alone. And I'm not telling that to the person, who has support from people. I'm telling that from the person who's on his knees begging God for shit to change. You got to think things when you're alone. When I got in the Marine Corps, it was getting into a place where things were alone. I was in Yuma for 2.5 months. I don't really talk to much people. I was working nights. I did things alone. I was in the gym every fucking day. I was working my ass off every fucking day at 18 years old, 19 years old. People don't understand that. People don't understand what it means. Excuse me, I was 18. 19, I turned in Kuwait. um, People don't understand. Excuse me, I turned 20 in Kuwait. Wow. People don't understand what it is when you're figuring these things out. They don't figure out what's happening to you when you are going through your shit in the midst of just trying to be a better version of yourself. And when I'm saying I'd rather be alone than around fearful people, is fearful people are going to weigh you down. When I was around my mom, she used to say things like, Mijo, we can't do this, or oh, that's going to be too hard, or oh, that's going to be difficult. Oh, I could have did this, but it's way too hard. And it's like, you need the people that are going to embrace the suck and say, go, motherfucker, do that shit. Don't be a bitch. And that's where, that dialogue of how you motivate yourself, how you talk. So that's why I say, like, not everybody's going to resonate with you. Not everybody's going to be on the same program as you. There's some guys that you call them a bitch, they're going to get upset and they're going to want to fight you. There's some guys you call them a bitch, they're going to prove you wrong. I'm that guy that's going to do both. I'm going to want to fight you, but I'm going to prove you fucking wrong, because at the end of the day, you don't know where the fuck I've been through. You've never been through the shit I've been through. You don't fucking get it on the levels that I do. And that's what you need to understand is people are only going to go as far as you push them. They're only going to go as far as you can show them. And if you're not elevating, if you're not doing the things you need to do, if you're not pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion, if you're not doing what you need to do, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to help you get to that next motherfucking level. And that's where people need to understand is if sometimes you got to go alone. When I got sober and I stopped drinking, I had to do it alone. The reason why is not everybody's going to understand that. They're going to think that, oh, you have a little drinking problem. They don't understand that you're getting blacked out. They don't understand that you're suppressing the pain, the trauma, the shit that molded you, the shit that fucking hurts every day, the shit that makes you want to kill yourself. People don't understand that. So you got to enlighten them, bring them to your level, and show them exactly what it is, that pain, that drive, that whatever. It's just like for me, I was in the gym for years. I just didn't have the results behind it because I would fluctuate, I would yo-yo, and it showed in the way I presented to in life. But when I came a solid motherfucker and I showed up every day, regardless of what time it is, regardless of how I felt, regardless of whatever, I'm posting the workouts, I'm posting the nutrition, I'm posting the journey, I'm talking about it, I'm giving screenshots of what it's been like throughout the whole process. That's what changes. And again, my message isn't going to resonate with everybody. I came on my story today and I literally talked about, your story's not going to resonate. That's why if I have somebody who came from a privileged background or had mommy and daddy helping them, it's going to be a little bit harder for a conversation for me unless they're up to speed and they've matured and went through certain things. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that it's a different thing. That's what you have to understand is you have to understand that not everybody's going to get you. Not everybody's going to be on that wavelength. Not everybody's going to be on the level that you are because they're not going to have been through the same fucking things. So when it comes through what we're doing, when it comes through our business, when it comes through translating and becoming the best individual that we can be, not everybody's going to get that. Not everybody's going to be on that wavelength. Not everybody is going to share that same passion with you because they didn't go through that shit. And that's what you got to understand is not everybody's going to be what you are, what you want to be. And you got to be able to block them out, separate that. And that's why people say separation season, something we're always doing. You're always separating yourself. You're always focusing on being a better individual, being something different than what you were yesterday. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge the, oh, blah, 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 this or that, the other. It's not what it is. You need to figure out what's important for you. You need to put the work in. You need to focus on being the best you. It's difficult. And that's where it goes into what you're doing. It goes into who you are. It goes into whatever. Lundis, you're going on a long tangent right now. Damn good point. Wrap it up with this. I'd rather be alone than around fearful people because fearful people are going to put that doubt in your mind. Anytime you let doubt in your mind, you're letting the devil win. You're doubting yourself that you can become something, do something, whatever. When I was in the Marine Corps, we used to always do this. You'd ask somebody, oh, was it really that hard of what they were doing? Now, if it was someone who wanted to string you along and play you, they'd be like, yeah, it's fucking hard as shit. Da, 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 da. But if it's your friends are like, nah, that shit was easy. And when you get competitive, you're like, nah, that shit was easy. And what you really realize is a lot of people are just in their head a lot of the fucking times. That's why you got people who run marathons easily. That's why you got people who lift heavy weight easily. That's why you got people who lose the weight easily. It's all a fucking mindset game. And for me, I realized that, I went through various injuries. I used to run 18 miles like nothing. Now I don't run. Now I focus on lifting. Now I focus on a different thing. So when people talk about the injuries, talk about overcoming it, they talk about mindset, now where I am is completely different than where I used to be. And you're like, why don't you fucking get it? Because it takes fucking time. And that's why I say sometimes you need to separate yourself. Sometimes you need to be away from it. I still with so many people that fucking know what they're doing wrong, but they still fucking do it. And it's fucking sickening. It's sickening because when I was struggling, I wish I would have had somebody who could tell me, hey, this or that. And I did. Don't get me wrong. I had a couple people who told me, but I can't follow your advice if you can't follow your own advice. And that's something that held me back. Something that held me back was listening to the wrong advice, listening to people who don't understand, listening to the people who are telling you one thing, but they're doing another. Again, you got to understand for yourself that whatever you're doing is in alignment with you being a better version of you, showing up as you, and doing what you need to do for yourself. It ain't anybody else's fucking game. It's your game. You hold the cards, you decide what you're doing. So live upon that. And if you really want to be involved with other people, you want to be involved with the bullshit they bring, go for it. But It's not going to lead you to being happy, lead you to being down the path that you want to do, lead you to whatever. And I'm not trying to go long winded. And I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to impose something that I'm not. I'm telling you strictly from experience that if you let fear get the best of you, you're never going to amount to shit. And I'm not just trying to be that dude and da 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 da. No, I'm telling you as a fucking man, you let fear come in, you're not going to be shit. The reason why is because fear is always going to hold you back from everything you're going to do. It's going to hold you back from leveling up. It's going to hold you back from being the best you can be. It's going to hold you back from getting levels above where you need to be. It's going to hold you back, period. And that's where people struggle. People struggle because they let this fear in. They let these people tell them that they can't do something. Let people tell them that they aren't something. If you believe you are something, then live upon it. Then embody those characteristics. But not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people understand that, hey, what I got to do is different than everybody else. And what I got to do is be better than what everybody else is doing. Everybody wants to be consumed with, oh, this person's this person's that, this person's this or that. It doesn't fucking matter. If you believe that you're a better version, then live upon being a better version. And what the fuck else are we talking about? Why are we listening to these fucking dumb fucks who don't get it, who aren't putting the work in, and that's it? I'd rather be alone than around these people who aren't fucking doing it. Why? Because there's so many people that are still living the life that they're living, and they want to get mad at you for what you're doing. All right, I don't condone bullshit. I don't have bullshit around me. I don't want bullshit around me. That's who I am. That's what I stand for. So why the fuck am I explaining myself? Why am I explaining that I don't like and I don't accept what I don't accept? It is me, and if you don't appreciate that, that's it. That's all I need to fucking do is just be me, and everything else will follow. I don't need to go outside the external. I don't need to impress other people. I can stick to me and what's important to me, and that is all. And that's what you got to do for yourself is understand that, hey, today I need to be the best I can be. I need to separate myself. I need to act on this action instead of being fearful and around these people who just don't get it. Once you're over that part, what the fuck else are we talking about? That's the close. That's all I'm saying is I'd rather be alone and be doing shit on my own because I know I can act upon that action. I know I can be better. But if I have these people who have fear in their mind, if I have people who have doubt around me, they're not getting me fucking anywhere because they're always going to say, what if? What if I did this? What if I did that? What if you just shut the fuck up and do it? You know what I mean? It's just like if somebody keeps saying they're going to do something and then you hit them with a, well, if you were going to do it, it would have already been done. What else they have to say after that? Well, if they would have done it, it would have already been done. And that's something I tell myself all the time. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. Well, if it was important to you, you would have already done it. So you take the action. You do what you got to do. And that's why fear is dangerous. Is fear will let that doubt creep in your mind. But if you ain't got doubt, you just execute. You just live in that action. You live within the moment because all you do is execute. What else do we have to talk about?